everybody, welcome back. If you're new here, hi, I'm Mercury. So today, I'm here in the city and I'm gonna see a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna see a bunch of stuff. So if you've been following me for a minute, you know I'm a big Johnny Depp fan. He has an art exhibit in New York City called A Bunch of Stuff. Today is opening day, it's October 4th. It's going on through the end of November and I got tickets. Let's go check it out. And this is sort of the outside, walking up to the door. And this is on like 27th all the way on the west side. Buy the ticket, take the ride. Oh, Hunter S. Thompson, love it. Yeah, this is a song from Miss Hedy Lamarr, erased by the same world who made her a star. Books by Dylan Thomas and Bob Dylan. Okay, Haruki Muramaki. I also wrote 1Q84, that book that I'm absolutely in love with. Oh, Patti Smith's book. I recently read two of her books, actually. that was amazing. It was amazing. I'm a little discombobulated because I bought stuff. So I'm gonna go find a park or something that we could sit in and we can chat, and I'll let you know what I thought. So I walked across town and I'm in Madison Square Park, which I love it over here. It's just off 23rd Street, so it's like the same area. It's still in Chelsea. It's just more central to where the exhibit was. But it's a good place to come and sit, relax, and let me tell you what I thought. Bunch of stuff. It really was a bunch of stuff. So when you first walk in, even before you start going through the curtains, there was like this cabinet set up, and it had different things in it, including books. And instantly I'm like feeling connected because they're books by authors I've read and I love, and I connect to their works. So like right off the bat, I was like feeling that I see you and I feel seen before I even went through the curtain and before even like going in, and that was just such a powerful way for me to start this out. So after that, you kind of go through this curtain, and it's like zigzag way it's set up, and it's very minimal. It's very minimalistic. There's like one piece of art on its own on one side, then you like turn, you go through, and there's another piece, and then you turn it, so on and so forth. And so it's like slow pace introduction to seeing the exhibit. And then when you walk in, you know, past all the curtains, the first thing that's set up is like a desk, and it has a sign above it that says "Life is a Bird Song," which is something that Marlon Brando had told him. And the details, right? There's so much stuff on this desk that's set up, and to take it all in, it's like what's in this cubby, what's on this shelf, what's over here, what's posted on the wall above it, what's next to it. There's so many details, so much richness in the layers, and it sort of like elevated that experience because I spent a lot of time looking at the little things, right? So it's like the square footage of this space is not a huge footprint, but the details, right? The details. So then it's sort of set up circular. So you can either go right or left. I generally in life tend to go left. So I went left, and you start going through some of his works. There was this one piece of art that just like hit me in the feels. And it was like a sketch of a person, presumably self-portrait. I mean, I don't know for sure, and it said alone, alone, alone. I was just like, it really hit me in the feels. It hit me in that place of like, you know, there's that line from, oh God, what song is it? There's like a line in an Alice Cooper song where it says, I may be lonely, but I'm never alone. And it just sort of like, when you live a life of celebrity and you're always with people, but feeling totally alone. And I was wondering if that was like, where that was coming from. I don't know, but that's what it made me think of. So after this like little section of art, you like turn, and then it's a whole like aisle, I guess, of the lyrics to, this is a song from Miss Hedy Lamarr, and it leads to the section on Death by Confetti. It was a multi-part series, and so it's a big painting, and then to the left of it is a fabric. And since I work in fabric so much, I really was curious if those fabrics had any meaning to him. Because there are times that I work in fabric and it's just like specific to the project and I just need something to match. But there are also times I've worked in fabric where it's been very personal, where it's been very intentional. Like as an example, I had made a teddy bear for somebody, and it was made out of shirts and jeans of somebody who had passed, and they asked me to turn it into a bear for them. So I did. So that's like an example of like fabrics can have like a lot more meaning than, you know, squishing paint out of a tube, right? There's something lived in about working in fabric, and I have questions. I have lots and lots of questions about that fabric piece. Lots of questions. I have no answers, but I have a lot of questions. And then there were additional pieces of art through the back, including a huge bunny man piece. And then I got to this room with the chandelier. And this is my favorite piece of the exhibit, was the chandelier area. Because it was the scraps, the little bits, the drawings on hotel stationery, the sketch on the back of an envelope, the thing ripped out of a sketchbook and you still have the sketchbook holes along the side, the imperfectly perfect. And there was so much. So they were all like hanging from these strands from the chandelier. And there were so many of them, and they were all small. So I'm just like looking and taking it in, and sometimes it's just a handwritten note, and sometimes it's a drawing, and sometimes it's just a thought. And I just took it all in, and I spent so much time in that area because there were so many details to it, the minutia of it, and really wanting to see it all. And I'm sure even now I missed some, but I really tried. I really tried. And then that chandelier is surrounded with paintings on the walls as well. And there was one painting in particular that really stood out to me quite a bit in there. And I really lingered in that section. I was experiencing something I can't quite put words to, but it felt good. It felt good. And then after the chandelier area, there's another section where it's set up almost like a workshop, like a painting workshop. So you have the paints, and there's like a big portrait, and I'm questioning if the portrait was of Lily Rose. I'm not sure, but I think that may have been what the portrait was of. And it was like a work in progress is kind of what it looked like, the vibe that it was going for, because it was set up to be like in a studio. And then behind it, there were also portraits he did of his mom. He did Betty Sue. And then there's an area with like a couch and a table full of like, the best way to describe it is like apothecary type of things, like bottles and skulls and tarot cards and like cigarette wrappers, because he rolls his own cigarettes, and like all these things, with a huge portrait of Marlon Brando behind it and two of his guitars. Another spot with so many details where I was just trying to take it in and linger and soak in that experience in that moment. And it was a cool place to be. I don't really know how to describe it other than it was like, this is a chill environment. This is comfortable. It was my vibe. It's like, I get it. And it's one of those things where like, when you can innately connect to something without putting words to it, that's what I felt over there. And then that's sort of like the end of the loop. But then one of the staff was like, oh, did you see the multimedia video yet? And I was like, no, I know it's here, but I couldn't figure out where to go. It's a little bit hidden. There's like a wall that runs behind that kind of like studio area. And you have to like kind of slip behind that wall. And there's two 180-degree screens. I don't want to call it 360 because it kind of is more like an 8, like a figure 8, as opposed to a big circle. So it's like two 180-degree screens, and it's like animated versions of Johnny Depp's artwork narrated by Johnny Depp. And it really gives you like more insight into his work, his thought process, his history, you know, we are the sum of all of our parts, and he was sort of talking about some of the parts that make up him that ended up in his art. So that's what it was like, and I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved it. I like connected to these pieces so easily. I felt so much, not just appreciation, but like a sense of acceptance, a sense of like, I'm not alone in this universe. There's other kindred souls out there, and it made me feel part of something. I don't know what that something is, but it made me feel less alone. So yeah, art's powerful. Art's important. We need to make art whenever we can. So like I said, I did also make a few purchases. So I'll show you what I got. So I got this little bag and a book. So in the little bag, so I got a patch with, my rings are getting caught. So I got a patch with 13, right? And then I got pin. And then I got this book. And it's still wrapped in a plastic. I'm not going to open it yet. But this is a book of all of the art that was there. And it's pretty awesome. It was a little bit pricey. And I asked if it would be available online, so that way maybe like down the road I can get it. And they were like, no, it's not. So it was sort of like, if I didn't get it now, I'd never be able to get this. So I sucked it up and I got it. But it's a compilation of all of the art that was there, and probably more than what was there, just based on how big the book is and how much stuff was in the exhibit. They also had a lot of other stuff. They had t-shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, other pins, other patches. They had all of the items from the Never Fear Truth site. So Bunny Man necklace, scarf, rings, all the stuff on the Never Fear Truth site, they were selling that as well. So I had a great time. I had an absolutely great time. So I guess with that, I'm done for the day. I'll see you all real soon. And until then, stay inspired by everyone. Take care.